What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm out here doing some network. Gonna be talking about form. Gonna be talking about some new ways that I've been thinking about using my hips. I feel like I have a slightly better understanding, but I feel like I have a slightly better feel of what using the hips feels like. And I want to share some of my thoughts and thought processes with y'all and see if it's helpful to y'all. Hope y'all enjoy. Let's get into it. I want to start this video off by saying too that I am a player first before I am a coach. I do give lessons to people, but I am a player first. I'm currently 1004 rated. I have won a handful of B tiers. I've had a handful of events that I've won that I've averaged 1030s. I'm saying all this to say that I have played at a fairly high level and I feel like I understand the mechanics. I've been around a lot of really good players. I've talked to a lot of people. I've asked people for advice. That's how I've gotten to where I'm at now. I know there's a lot of disc golf coaches out there who are strictly coaches and not players. I want to say that everything that I share with y'all is just what I'm thinking about in my head as I'm throwing, and everything that I'm more of a feel person. I'm teaching people feel. Okay, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. What I say might not work for you. I hope you do your own research, but this is just kind of a glimpse inside my mind and my thoughts, and I'm just sharing them on YouTube. So hope y'all enjoy, hope y'all get something out of it, and if not, thank you for your time. Let's get into it. So like I said, as a player, I feel like I've felt using my hips in a bunch of different ways, and I feel like now the way I think about it is completely different. I feel like just because I'm thinking about it differently has made a really big difference. I feel like visually there isn't that much difference between how it used to look and how it does look now, but I feel like mentally I'm thinking about it way differently, which is now just really emphasizing on where I'm getting my power from. And I've gone through a handful of different thought processes. One of the main ones was, which I said this in my last video, but when I'm going to throw my hips forward, right? People were saying like, oh, it's not a rotational, you're not, if you do that, you're going to overturn. And I think I had mentioned something that I was thinking about. One of the new thought processes I had was thinking about trying to throw this hip back, right? And I think is what this is kind of doing in a sense, is it's keeping me from focusing too much on a rotational movement, because if I was trying to think about getting this hip back forward, then it wouldn't ever really stop. I would want to continue to drive that forward, but with me thinking about just throwing this hip back, like that's it. That's the motion. And so I think building off of that, I've finally understood when people are saying it's not a rotational thing, it's you throwing your hips forward, right? You're here and then you're coming, it's more this opposed to this. And I think I'm starting to see that a little bit more of, it's not as rotational as I was kind of thinking. It's more here, and then we're throwing our hips out forward. We're going out forward. And some drills that I've done that I feel like have helped me feel this is, imagine this is a wall and I have a medicine ball here. I had my mobility coach. I can actually upload a video so y'all can see more or less what it looks like.
There it is.
And so after that video, you can see my, there was a little bit of a brace, but just that feeling of being here and coming, boom, forward. I'm driving into this front leg, which I feel like made such a big difference for me. And so now I've been trying to figure out, there was a period where I was trying to figure out how to translate that onto the course, onto the throw. I think the biggest piece that helped me do it was realize that the throw has to be slow, especially when you're trying to grasp the concept. When I hear a brace, I'm thinking, super secure, you're snug down, right? And if you're bracing for something, in my opinion, you don't want to brace as fast as you can to try to stop, right? You want to make sure you're secure. And so I think when you're putting that foot down to brace, you don't need to be fast. Get your foot down, and then then you can think about it. You have so much more time than you think, and I think as someone who gets told that they have really smooth form, the better my form gets, the more I realize how slow I can go and still generate so much power. And so that's one of my biggest things that I'm going to be talking about here, is kind of getting that translation from the ground into the hip and kind of what that should feel like. And again, I'm going to show another video of an exercise that we did that I really started feeling it, and I was like, holy crap, this is what it is. So you can see in that video, I have a band, and it's pretty tough. You can see me kind of shaking, but I have it to where it's pulling me forward, right, and I'm working on you know, driving and coming back, and kind of working on some anti-rotational stuff and core stuff. But is what I noticed when in that exercise was a lot of the pressure, you know, it's pulling me from my right side, right? So it's pulling me from my right hip, and I could really feel my hip engagement and kind of how much that was stabilizing me. And it wasn't really as much as my left hip, more so my right. I felt so much in my right, and so I kind of, it was like this tension of me kind of pulling away from the band, right? I was trying to really drive my foot into the ground to keep myself from leaning over or wanting to bend down, right? And so I kind of took that and translated it onto the course, and it was just game changer. I really started feeling it when I started focusing on getting on this foot, and then this foot is planted, right? Before, I used to try to activate my hips here and come back, and I don't think you really want that. I think you want to just keep this foot pretty neutral, and then you're really focusing on getting this hip turned back. So you're coming, you know, you're imagine here, and then you're slightly internally rotating your hip, right? So if I'm here, you're coming internally rotating, and you'll feel that squeeze in your glute. That is the feeling that I'm talking about that you want to pull from, right? So when you plant, you should still be feeling it. That's where you're pulling from. That's where you want to be pulling from, is right here in that glute and hip area. I'm tightening up right now because I'm literally squeezing. I'm cramping right now. That's where you want to be, and that's a good way to kind of feel it, is get here on this foot, internally rotate, and once you do this, I mean, I already feel a squeeze right here. That's what you're doing. You're getting this and driving it backwards, and what that's doing, my back foot's already coming off the ground. But in my opinion, that is such a faster movement than trying to get all the way back and then thinking about rotating all the way around. Where here it's just straight, boom. And now the great thing about this is, as I'm throwing, I just choose how hard I'm really squeezing that, and that's how hard I'm throwing. So I don't need a big run up to produce a lot of power. So I'm throwing a mid. I mean, the run up's going to be extremely slow. But like I said, it really doesn't need to be that fast. I promise you it doesn't. Unless you want that elite distance, but that's when the timing is perfect. Start slow. You can achieve more than enough power going slow. I promise you, I'm not some special athlete. I'm the most basic person. I didn't play any varsity sports. I barely even played any, I never started. I have zero crazy athletics. I'm not flexible. I promise you, you don't need anything. Lengthy arms, yeah, they can help, but it's not that important. Squeeze. Boom. 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 Something I've worked on my plant, and I really started feeling it when I was in the gym, was really focusing on when I'm driving forward, really focusing on like a glute and right hip activation, and almost just my entire leg, right? If I'm in this position, if I squeeze this and come back, you can already see that my back foot is pretty much already wanting to come up, right? And that's literally just the throw, right? And it's me just activating here and driving my hip, you know, jamming it kind of backwards, right? That's what everybody talks about with the brace. And that's exactly what it needs to be. And personally, me, that's where I feel the throw. I feel like I'm pulling from this region right here. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this. Maybe I'm the only person and maybe I'm absolutely insane, but I feel a lot of it pulling. I plant, right, I'm on my toe, and then it's here and I'm just driving this, and I'm squeezing my leg and just jamming my hip almost, you know, backwards into me, right? And that's automatically just bringing this foot up. And I think the best way to feel this is get in the gym, get resistance bands, and feel that. If you can't feel it in the field, go to the gym. It's the easiest, I think the most underrated way to improve your disc golf throw. I think it's the most overlooked way to get better distance, and honestly just feel the mechanics. You're able to, the moment we can drop the disc and get the disc out of the picture, for some reason our body is just, we're able to do a lot more, right? When we get the disc in our hand, we want to throw it far, we want it to feel comfortable, we don't want to be uncomfortable, and that's the biggest issue when people are trying to change their form, is people are so afraid of being uncomfortable and having a bad result. I think we really need to stray away from that. That's gonna wrap up today's video. If y'all enjoyed this, definitely leave a comment. If y'all didn't enjoy it or think that I'm talking absolute bogus, then go ahead and tell me, okay? That's fine. If there's anything in specific you really want me to focus on or show y'all, I would love to be able to help anybody that I can. Like I said, this is just what it feels like to me, and this is how I'm throwing. I'm probably throwing 450 very, pretty comfortably on a decent line, and I can definitely get some out to 500. I don't ever really have to throw that far, so honestly, it's something I'd never really even practice. But like I said, this is how I think about it. I hope you were able to take something away from this that helped you, and yeah, my biggest advice to y'all is get in the gym, get a mobility coach, work on mobility. It helps you feel things that you've never felt before that you didn't know how to activate. For me, having really tight glutes, I never really use my glutes or my hips or my legs. It's hard for me to activate them. I really have to focus, and so getting into mobility has helped me learn how to use those, learn how to feel those muscles, and that's my biggest advice, is just get in the gym, use some resistance bands. You don't have to really even do weights, just resistance training. Ideally, resistance bands is more than enough. Thank y'all so much for watching. Check out my sponsors down below in the description. I've got a handful of codes that y'all can use on different websites to get all of your disc golf needs taken care of. Thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. It really helps me out and helps the channel out. Like I said, I'm really hoping to pump out some more content this year for everybody on here. I really want to get more into YouTube. I've been liking just the change of pace from, some of the faster Instagram and Facebook. It's been nice, and I've definitely enjoyed it. So thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget, stay smooth, get in the gym.